Yes, we have 8. We do have a quorum.
Okay, sounds good. So we'll go ahead and call the October 26, 2021 meeting of the LNAA Board of Governors to order. I'm going to start by obviously pointing out that I'm not Matt Turk. Matt got tied up in some matters today. He cannot attend the meeting, so he asked me to chair it in his absence. So first item on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. If I could ask everyone to please rise. And so that I assume you'll mute us all.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Next on the agenda is roll call. So that
Brian Dames, Mike Dowd, Frank Facciano,
Present.
Don Godshaw,
Present.
Justin Grimshaw,
Here.
John Hayes,
here.
Ron Heckman, Larry Hemberger,
Larry's on.
James Irwin, Jeff Matzkin, Glenn Reedman,
Present.
Mike Stershik,
Here.
Matt Turk, Chris Worley,
Here.
Tara Zrinsky. We do have a quorum, sir.
Okay, thank you, Solvet. Next, I'm going to go off agenda for 1 second. Tom, glad you're back, but again, on behalf of the Board of Governors, wanted to extend our sympathies to you and your family for the passing of your mom. Most of us, if not all of us, have gone through it. It's not easy, and our thoughts and prayers remain with you and your family.
Thank you, John.
Absolutely. Solvet, do we have any public comment?
We do not, sir.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda then is approval of the minutes of September 28, 2021. They were circulated via email. We'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, I know we had a lot of voices there, so Sylvette, feel free to pick whoever you want to have the motion in the second.
You got it, sir.
Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of the subject motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is the treasurer's report. Did I hear Brian is not on the call today?
That's correct, sir.
Okay, sounds good. Then we'll just go ahead and turn it right over to Todd for the treasurer's report.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Walk through the treasurer's report. Next slide, please. Always start off with the traffic. You can see our traffic was down some versus 2019, because that's where we're kind of benchmarking to. But again, if you remember, we had a lot of construction in the month of September. Approximately 18% of the days we were under construction, so that's obviously impacted our traffic, because nobody was traveling while we had the construction on those days when we had the runway shutdowns. Next slide. Last month we did the budget, and a lot of stuff we're talking about is really just taking us right into our 2022 budget. It's not on the agenda, but everything's kind of moving in that direction. We did the amendment last month where we did the adjustments. Was approximately 1.3 million of adjustments and expenses. 900,000 of that number was for personnel expenses. And so you'll see all that kind of flowing through now and actually as we go into the budget. But we started off the month of September because remember we zeroed out last month with our adjustments. So we have pretty positive variance. We expected a much worse month than we did. Some of that in anticipation of the shutdowns, but we only lost 28,000 versus a much larger budgeted number, even with the latest adjustments. But a lot of that is some of our aviation services, and even parking was up versus what we thought we would be. Again, we're managing expenses. Some of that not the way we would like, because we are struggling like everybody else to hire people, but we have a lot of positions open, but that's obviously impacting our expenses. Next slide. This is just a continuation of what I just mentioned for the month of September, because we carried over from a zero budget in August. You can see that our income for the year is year-to-date, 4.44 million. You can see that is way on course for our budget for the year with our last amendment of 2.4. But again, a lot of that is due to the significant CARES we got. Without CARES, we're about 984,000. Again, a lot of that is moving in the right direction. You can see again about the mention about the expenses being down, but that's due to our lower FTE count, as I mentioned this before. Next slide. Cash flow, we keep focusing on that. You can go to the next slide. Most important thing is that we stay above our 60-day threshold. These are going to be updated with some of our latest capital stuff, but again, our goal is to stay above 60 and with all of our contingencies in there. And that out in the treasurer's report. Any questions?
Thank you, Todd. Any questions for Todd? If not, I'd entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the subject motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Todd, thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Next on the agenda is the Business Committee. I chaired this committee last week. We only have one item for discussion here at the board, and that's the award of a bid for a front-end loader for snow removal for the season. So, Steve, I believe you'll take care of this one.
Yep, thank you, John. So this is our, kind of our typical every couple years, we put out a bid for additional snow removal equipment, primarily front-end loaders. We had a pretty good discussion during the committee meeting regarding, you know, the usage of it. Really, for the 2-year agreement, it's 2 seasons, December 1 through March 31st of 21-22, and then again, December 1st of 22 to March 31st of 2023. Total amount, awarded amount for the contract is $99,520. Really, for the 3 pieces of equipment, the significant piece is the 8 cubic yard loader that is well and truly a specialty piece of equipment that we use to push large amounts of snow. So that's probably a third larger than the loaders we have on property now, and really does the bulk of the work here on our terminal apron, cargo apron, and FBO aprons. And then the skid steer is sidewalks around the terminal, and the 3 cubic yard loader is primarily used in the parking lots. I don't know if anybody had any additional questions.
No, I think we discussed this. This has been pretty thorough.
Yeah, we had pretty good discussion.
Yep. Entertain a motion to approve the rental agreement.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the subject motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Steve, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, we're flying through here. May set a record if we keep this up. Next on the agenda is Tom for the director's report. Tom?
All right, thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I'll do my best here to keep the pace. So Todd ran through the numbers a little bit on September. Passenger traffic again up over last year, certainly down about 26% from 2019. Without the closures, the 2 runway at airport closures that we had in September, I think we would have been down about only 15% from 2019. So we did lose some passengers there, but that was self-inflicted during the closures. Taking a look at October, TSA's national passenger traffic is up about 122% so far this October versus last, but it is down about 21% nationally versus October of 19. For ABE, we're only down about 9% versus October of 19 so far. And what's interesting is the number of airline seats available here are down about 9% as well. So similar load factors, I think, in some cases, but really a good indicator of a pretty strong October, I think, here for us, and that's an encouraging sign. Since our last board meeting on September 28th, we did have Customer Appreciation Week, the 4th through the 8th, October 6th. We actually held that in the terminal. And it was really a lot of fun. And certainly want to thank all of our airport advertisers who participated in that and were here on site with all kinds of great goodies and handouts for passengers. Also, the 4th through the 8th, we had the TSA pre-check open enrollment here at ABE, and that was sold out. We had 315 individuals enrolled in the program as part of that, so we already have 3 events planned for next year, so that's going very well. October 13th, First Lady Jill Biden arrived at ABE during her visit to the Lehigh Valley, so again, a visit from the White House. October 14th, PennDOT Bureau of Aviation Director Anthony McCluskey was here to visit Hangar 11. He wasn't able to see that for the ribbon cutting, and also to discuss some ongoing capital projects at our airport system airports. October 19th, Miss Pennsylvania, Megan Sinisi from Altoona, visited our sensory room here at ABE. She's very focused on autism awareness as her platform. I guess is going to be competing for Miss America in December, so it's great to host her here. In terms of upcoming events, this Friday, October 29th, we will be having our snow and ice control rodeo. Our maintenance department is dusting off the snow removal equipment, getting it out of the barn, and getting it ready for winter operations, putting it through its paces a little bit. So looking forward to having that. Thursday, November 4th, we will be hosting a career fair here in the second level of main terminal from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. So ourselves, as well as some of our tenants and stakeholders here, will be participating in that. Beginning Monday, November 8th, folks who are non-U.S. citizens that are fully vaccinated with a negative COVID test can begin traveling to the United States again. So that was announced this week. And let's see, last but not least, we will be participating in several Eastern Travel Association trade shows in the area, November 15th in Harrisburg, the 16th in Wilkes-Barre, and the 17th back here in the Lehigh Valley in Bethlehem. So with that, that concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Tom. Open it up for questions. Okay. Silence is consent, Tom. Thank you very much. Appreciate the good report.
Thank you.
Yep. Solicitor's report. Judge, do we have anything today?
Well, I'd like a very brief executive session to report on the stormwater litigation.
Okay, and we won't have any decisions or any votes coming out, correct?
I'm sorry?
We won't have any decisions or any votes coming out, correct?
There'll be no decisions or votes. It's to inform the board and to answer any questions that the board might have about that litigation.
Okay, sounds good. I'll entertain a motion to move to exec session. Have a motion. Do I have a second? Second.
Okay, Mr. Vice Chair, we are back.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much. Judge, you want to give a synopsis of our exec session, please?
During the executive session, I discussed the pending litigation against by the airport authority against the city of Allentown relating to the stormwater charge, and provided a report to the members on the status of that litigation. There were no questions. There was one question, but there was no discussion of the merits. There was no decision made with regard to the litigation. This was purely an information providing session.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Next on the agenda, or actually say last on the agenda, is does anyone have any new or old business to bring before the Board of Governors today? Okay, hearing